After recruit death, Navy SEAL community will impose force-wide urinalysis to root of performance-enhancing drugs. What about a cortical steroid? A cortical steroid, you're not. That's just for like recovery, right? Pain management, um, longevity of the affected area, right? Those are highly specific injections depending on what part of your body ails you. Are those against the fucking? But then again, I guess no recruit is gonna bring a corticosteroid with them to you know this training, and I don't know how the military operates in regards to corticosteroids, but I don't know, man. You really are asking a lot of these guys. You're exerting so much more effort and so much more force and just like nonstop go 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 sweating all the time, constant heart rate, constant shit, right? Even just like the non-combat, just like training aspects of just being a Navy SEAL, this shit is strenuous. And if you mix that with a steroid, you're at high risk for a lot of shit, but at the same time, you are asking a lot of these guys, right? And they don't take the fucking week. And some of these guys might feel like they have to. Some of these guys might not have needed it in the beginning, but now they need it now. And some of these guys might not have never used it when they went in to be a Navy SEAL, but now 5 years into them being a Navy SEAL, they probably started using it. I don't really think it might be a recruit thing. I think it's just like a steroid thing. We had a guy my first deployment that got kicked out for steroids, which I thought was complete bullshit. I was mad, my homies were mad, sergeants were mad. Everybody was mad, bro. He was a good guy. He was a good soldier. He was maintenance and solid, man. And popped hot for steroids and no warning, no fucking demotion, no goddamn no extra duty, no doc pay, nothing. Straight up just kicked the fuck out. Was never a problem soldier, and bro, we were so mad. We were like, "Oh my god, why such a heavy fucking hand?" Like for be one thing if this motherfucker was out here just doped up on fucking Seroquel. That's a problem. But this motherfucker's actually getting stronger. He's actually more helpful. I understand it's against the rules, but fuck, man. Give us a fucking break. It's goddamn combat. I don't know. That's just my take. I mean, there's more dangerous things in a combat zone than steroids. Like, over there, you can get shot in the goddamn face. There's more dangerous than steroids, so the fact that they were so brutal on him over just like a first-time offender, like, goddamn, bro.
The United States Navy will now be testing its SEALs and those in training to be a SEAL in the BUDS program for PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs, steroids, primarily because of the training death that happened in BUDS back in 2022. And the Navy isn't the only one, because the U.S. Army Green Berets have also been under the microscope for performance enhancement drug testing for the past year or so. And personally, I think everybody is in agreement when I say that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Now, I'm not saying that every troop from supply to special forces needs to be juiced to the gills like 1990s Bane. But how is it that people can't see the obvious benefits of using performance-enhancing drugs to assist those in the most grueling military training that you can imagine? Hey, troop, I noticed that you're pretty fucked up. Would you like a legal drug that I could give to you to assist you in recovery? I can't. Why? Because the DOD thinks that war is like the fucking NFL and the opposing forces get to piss test us?
God damn, you know what? That's so annoying. Now that he says it like that, and I swear, when you're in combat, like, it's not so much my second deployment. My first deployment was when you get to man, that they expect you to be professional all the time. All the time? All the time? You want me to be professional all the time? Come on, man. Like, and especially when I was in combat, I was like I was like 19 years old, man. All the time, I gotta be serious all the time. Like, and it's just, it's so like everything, even when nothing serious is happening, they're just like, oh, this and that has to look good, and this and like always ass kissing and just fucking trying to do the absolute most so someone can give you a pat on the back and tell you good job. And yeah.
I wonder if the Geneva Convention has anything about medically enhanced troops. Medically enhanced. I like that term. But anyways, this is combat, not the Olympics. And honestly, there's far more doping in the Olympics than the Navy's 0.69% that have pissed hot for performance-enhancing drugs. And even that number is so exponentially lower than Russia's Olympic team's testing. Russia, known for integrity and all of its sporting accolades. A real
Whatever happened to all is fair in love and war? Huh? Whatever happened to that? Is that still a thing? I mean, like, dude. Oh man, combat has evolved so much. I mean, steroids in the military is something that I'm pretty indifferent, actually, on steroids in the military, which is surprising because I absolutely despise steroids in sports. I absolutely fucking hate it, especially in fucking baseball. It fucking pisses me off in baseball. Like, for some reason, maybe I'm kind of biased. I can sometimes kind of understand it if it's NFL, right? Big motherfuckers pushing each other around. Those are the prime motherfuckers to be taking steroids. But baseball, bro, like, that shit drives me nuts. But as for military use, I'm kind of indifferent on the whole thing.
class act.
Fucking angry cops right here looking like a bald 007 on Casual Friday.
Now let's break down why that 0.69% of the Navy pissing hot is making waves. Making waves. Navy.
Seals.
Dead joke. Back in 2022, a Navy trainee that was going through BUDS, the SEALs training course, passed away from pneumonia. And upon his passing, an investigation went underway. And rightfully so. During this investigation, PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs, were found in this trainee's vehicle. Now, if you're having trouble seeing how pneumonia and performance-enhancing drugs are linked together, me too. Looking deeper into that story, the trainee denied medical attention to treat his pneumonia while training at BUDS because he didn't want to be stopped, held back in training, and then had to restart.
Yeah.
That's a hard charger. I understand it. Unfortunately, that led to his death. And once the investigation started, an autopsy was completed, and they found that in addition to the pneumonia, he had an enlarged heart. The investigation assumed that this enlarged heart was directly caused by the HGH and testosterone.
Probably not. He probably already had an enlarged heart some way, somehow, don't know. And the steroids just did not help. Along with the pneumonia and the steroid use, it just probably... That's what fucked it up, but it didn't start it.
That was found in the trainee's vehicle. And the medical personnel involved with the investigation determined that the PEDs were contributing factors to this trainee's death. Now pay attention, because I'm about to use my brain. And I'm not a doctor, and I have a limited understanding of this, but follow me on here and I'll make this as easily digestible as I can.
Okay.
A contributing factor in an individual's death does not necessarily mean that that factor directly caused the death. For example,
that makes sense.
Controversial one at that. You remember a couple years ago when people were dying in car accidents, but they tested positive for COVID. So then they were saying COVID was a contributing factor in the individual's death. Now I understand that having the sniffles and crashing into a wall going 90 miles an hour, one seems to outweigh the other significantly.
Yes.
But nonetheless, the person had COVID, and maybe that jacked up their hand-eye coordination a little bit, which then caused to the thing, which then caused to the accident. You see where I'm going with this contributing factor? In a very basic understanding. Let's say that you have tetanus, but you also have high cholesterol. Even though you die of tetanus, having high cholesterol is still a contributing factor to your death. You see where I'm kind of going with this now? Now let's talk about steroids. The only kind of steroid that jacks with your lungs like this young man having pneumonia and makes it more difficult to breathe and swelling is corticosteroids. So if you remember your albuterol inhaler, that's it. Now corticosteroids can only be absorbed through the lungs. So once again, inhalers, but the steroids, the PEDs that the young man had was testosterone and HGH, which have nothing to do with the swelling of the lungs. Or the lungs in general. Now looking at the whole picture and putting this entire jigsaw puzzle together, the Navy is now testing for PEDs after a trainee died of pneumonia that was in no way caused by the HGH and testosterone that he took to assist him in the grueling physical training in BUD/S. Once again, a death unrelated to steroids or PEDs has now caused the Navy to test and kick people out for PEDs. What?
That doesn't make any fucking sense. Maybe the Navy's trying to downsize. I mean, we do have Democrats in office, and they love downsizing the military. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the Navy is downsizing. Maybe they're not trying to downsize the Navy SEALs per se, but they're trying to downsize period. Because if they can up testing on SEALs, they can up testing for the entirety of the fucking Navy. And if they want to cut down on personnel, just add one more thing that you can use to kick them the fuck out and separate them from the armed forces.
Why aren't military medical personnel utilizing HGH, testosterone, steroids to assist special operations soldiers and those in training, the most grueling military training imaginable?
Yeah.
Once again, I do not want everybody looking like Bane. But that's not what all steroids do.
Yeah.
They've got tons of different uses, not just for bulking up. A huge positive of PEDs is recovery.
Yes.
Assisting the body to repair muscles.
Actually, yeah, so you can work out more, you can work out harder. Like the time that you need to rest between sessions is significantly reduced. You're not as sore for long. Your soreness goes away faster, you know, and if used in moderation and used, you know, properly in the safest way that you could possibly use them to gain a positive effect, then I don't see any problem with that at all whatsoever. I mean, and obviously it's more of a participation thing or like a volunteer kind of thing, because it's not like you can force this on every soldier, because, you know, I'm not special operations, bro. Had I been in the military and they would have said, "Hey, we're going to put you on steroids to make you stronger," I probably would have said no, man, because I can see it for special operations, for SEALs, special forces, shit like that. But for the rest of the 99% of the military that's not special operations, I would have said no to this. Like, I don't want my dick getting small and goddamn whatever negative side effects come with steroids. So as long as there's no negative side effects, or just, you know, the most chronic ones that we've seen when it comes to steroid use, do whatever the fuck they want to do, man. Really, truly, I would just say no.
Joints, ligaments. How about we utilize the science to prevent injury?
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a super soldier running around anyway?
I don't know about super soldier angry cops, because I mean, look at what that jackass did. The one that escaped his basic training and hijacked a school bus full of children. I definitely don't want him hopped up on fucking anything. But I get what you're saying. Got lucky with Steve Rogers. You know, you chose the most noble man on the planet, probably outside of Jesus. But this is real life, and you start super soldiering up fucking soldiers, you may do it to the wrong one, man. Or one who's like on the verge of a psychotic fucking break or something weird. Be good.
You're telling me an NFL guy can recover from an ACL tear in 8 months and be out there hit-sticking and trucking over people, but we got military personnel laid up for 10 months, a year plus with like lingering injuries, and we could just And I know it's not that simple, just shove them all full of drugs. It's not that simple. But nonetheless, a door that is there where we could just fucking breach open and assist individuals in recovery. What happened to be all you can be? I'm not saying make it mandatory, but why are we handcuffing ourselves from utilizing beneficial medications?
It'd be like having exosuits and not using them because they provide an unfair advantage on the battlefield. Kind of like how it was against the rules for us to use fucking hollow points in combat. Some of us still did, but it was against the Geneva Convention and the warfare and fair fighting, all that stupid lame shit. I don't see a problem with it, man. Really. And I can be very critical of the military, but I don't really see a problem with, as long as it's monitored. Obviously, you don't want any soldiers using these things on their own, like bringing it from home, you know, just like having a fucking refrigerator in their basement full of syringes that they're just like, you know, injecting themselves or taking it themselves or do it however it goes, doing it themselves. Obviously, if you're going to do it, have it monitored, you know, at the very least at the aid station level. But it's so nonsensical. It begs the question of why, man? Why? And the only reason I have is because they want to downsize the Navy. I'm telling you, once that rule goes into effect that they're going to increase testing for steroid use, it's not just Navy SEALs, man. This shit's going to trickle down to every other type of soldier in the Navy. They're not just going to be focusing on Navy SEALs. Ain't no way. When the military makes decisions, they don't make decisions for individuals. They make it for fucking everybody. So
to assist our soldiers, troops, sailors, seamen, whatever, in endurance and recovery. Now, I know the busted knees are a military stereotype from rucking and jumping out of planes, but you tell me, every retiree from the 82nd Airborne wouldn't literally jump at the opportunity if you said, hey, instead of having all this knee and joint pain with your ankles being jacked up too, we could have given you peptides or steroids or HGH or testosterone to assist you in recovery. If you want to think about it from a fiscal perspective, how much less would you spend in VA or medical payouts and or retirements if you just would have given them a little bit of that jab in the butt to help them get through the next phase of training or to recover faster or for assistance in muscle growth so that the joints that you have are supported by strong muscles that no longer require you to wear knee braces. Now, as a
Angry Cops, I have a feeling that 200 years from now, the military is still going to be giving motherfuckers Motrin and fucking ibuprofen. 200 years from now, we will have landed on Mars. We will have colonized a small plot of land. Our technology will have evolved something fierce. Yet the military is still going to be giving its soldiers Advil. That's fucking phenomenal.
Caveat, I'm obviously not a doctor, but I'm smart enough to read between the lines and understand the basics of these things that could be used to assist troops, especially ones that are fucking killing bin Laden. We can put metal teeth in a working dog for special forces, but they can't take steroids or just testosterone? My heart goes out to the kid and his family. A training loss like that is devastating.
Yeah.
But what does that have to do with getting rid of PEDs in the military?
Exactly,
and on top of that, having a zero tolerance, you're freaking out of here if they do piss hot. For PEDs, not drugs, not coke and other crap. Clarify that. It's not helping anyone. And honestly, these guys aren't going to Tijuana and bumping rails off of a hooker's butt.
Exactly. Like, imagine getting mad at your employee because your employee found a way to be better at his job. Crazy, right? You can't go out into the battlefield because you're too strong. I guess. I don't really know why I'm mad, but the only thing you're guilty of is getting stronger, but you still can't go on the battlefield because, yo, sir, why are we against this again? He, like, that, have you seen him? The fucker's an animal. I don't know, man. So it's
Right?
strange.
They're going outside of the military to get medical assistance so they can continue training and
serve.
putting their life on the
Yeah.
line. Which, in my opinion, the DoD should be assisting in that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really curious to see what you have to think. Write it down in the comments. What if you think I'm full of
I just said it, really.
shit and I'm wrong? Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me the things that I said that were wrong. I'll eat that dick. That's fine. This is a learning environment. But let me know if you agree with me too. I'd love for some doctors to be like, yeah.
I just, man, for me, as long as, no, man, that's, for some, man, I just feel like that's a myth. Roid rage is a fucking myth, man. I don't believe in roid rage at all whatsoever. I've met plenty of juiced fuckers. Nice fucking guys, man. Nice guys. But I don't know. There is adverse side effects to just, as long as it's monitored. I have no problem with it, man, at all whatsoever. If they wanted to do this, I'd be all for it, man. But as long as it's monitored, right? And I'm talking like monitored in the same way that the military monitors morphine. The military's not just giving morphine to fucking anybody, bro. You gotta be bleeding. You gotta be missing a limb. You have to have had something severed, bleeding profusely, have some insane amount of like just trauma. Like, not everybody gets fucking morphine, right? So if they treat it like that, with the same level of care and attention to detail, and then they figure out a way on how to minimize negative side effects, and while boosting positive side effects, that obviously you don't want them looking like a Mr. fucking Olympia, but just for the desired effects of just like recovery. I think that if it's for recovery, and if it's for just growth and stuff like that, just like the important stuff, then that's fine. But like, everybody thinks of steroids and automatically thinks of like big fucking meatheads, just muscle bound psychos, bro, that can't even bend over to wipe their ass. So, and it's not always that, man. Look at baseball. Some of the most biggest and repeat offenders have used steroids, and they weren't all that damn big. Granted, there was a size difference in their career, like, you know, me and Beth were just talking about. Whenever Mark McGwire first came into the league, that dude was about as fucking thin as my finger, man. But by the tail end of his career, this motherfucker didn't have a neck. Same thing with fucking Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds looked like me when he got into the league. And then by the time he was like, my age now, dude was just fucking massive. Dude was an absolute fucking unit. And, yeah, I don't know, man.